Good morning, everybody. Right now, I'm going to let everybody know that the situation has been resolved in the 300 block of 9th Avenue North. The SWAT team was finally able to make entry despite a lot of debris, and we were able to ascertain that the person that we believe is responsible for the shooting is deceased. We don't know if he's deceased because we engaged him with gunfire or if he did something to himself. That will be borne out in the investigation. So I want to let people know that we are not requiring them to shelter in place anymore. They can leave their homes. There is not a threat. The threat is gone. But I also want people to understand that we have a crime scene out there that is fairly expansive that we have to protect and process properly. And because of that, traffic, whether it's walking or driving, is going to be fairly restricted in that area. So I ask people to please respect the officers that are trying to protect that area. If they give you some direction to travel a different way, if you could please honor that for us. So again, the threat is no longer there. The person we believe is responsible for the shooting is deceased. I can take some questions. Well, let me explain a little bit further. Because we're involved in this incident, both as a victim of a crime and because a SWAT team engaged the subject, the North Dakota BCI will come in as an independent agency to investigate this scene. They will be assisted by the Cass County Sheriff's Department. So if there are any questions pertaining to the investigation, I would steer you towards those two agencies as we continue on through this investigation. Right now, my job as the chief is to take care of our officers' family and to take care of my officers as we kind of work through this and mourn our loss. So that's where we're at right now.
Chief, could you explain the debris inside the house, whether or not he was barricaded?
Well, I don't know what that debris is. I know they were trying to use a robot to get into the house. We didn't want to risk officers' lives unnecessarily. I know that they had some obstructions. They were having trouble getting the robot around, so that's why it took quite a while.
Can you tell us where the body was found?
No, I can't. Just inside the residence.
Can't tell us how he died.
It appears from a gunshot wound, but like I said, I don't know if that was from us engaging him or something self-inflicted.
Do you know if there were other weapons in the home? He was obviously armed because there had been shooting.
No, I'm not prepared to answer that. That's probably a question that will have to go to the BCI or the Cass County Sheriff's Department. They will now take over that scene and will be processing it and will be in charge of that investigation.
Will you be releasing the identity of the person, or at what point the identity?
You know, for that, I'm going to have to refer you to those other two agencies that are doing the investigation. They're the ones that will do the positive identification.
And have you gotten word from the suspect's family as of right now?
Not that I'm aware of, other than the initial call on the domestic incident.
Chief, earlier we had asked you reference the other family members that may have been in the house. Are you aware how they got out, or did they flee in the initial, incident that occurred?
I'm not aware what those details are, just that they fled the house and they were not in the house when we got there.
Is there any more update as far as Officer Moses' condition that you know? I know we just asked a couple hours ago. But.
Yeah. Officer Mosier's condition is that he has a wound that is not survivable. His family is with him. They're saying goodbye to him. And that's about all I can comment on at this time.
What about, how about the officers? I mean, how are you all holding up? I mean, obviously it's a big blow here.
Well, law enforcement's it's a tight family. You know, you work the streets with those guys every day, and it's a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And so that's what it's like, is losing a brother. And so that's how it feels.
What can you say about Officer Moser as a person, as an officer? I know you've been here for 6 years.
Yeah, he was a guy that came to work with a smile on his face every day. He loved working out on the street with his fellow officers. They loved working with him. He was just an all-around great guy, and it's a terrible loss for our department.
Chief, are you able to tell us any more about the circumstances that led to his being shot?
No, not other than what I released. He was out on a perimeter when we first arrived. We were awaiting SWAT, at which point in time the suspect started firing out of the house, and that's when we believe Officer Moser was hit.
So he was randomly shooting from the house, not.
Well, we think, I doubt it was random, because there was one squad car that was shot up in a different location, and then Officer Moser was also hit. So I don't think there was anything random about it.
He was targeting the officers.
That's what I believe.
Chief, I understand this would be the second officer that's been lost from Fargo Police Department. Can you verify that?
Well, I believe you're right. The other first one was over 100 years ago, so to ask me off the top of my head the details of that, I would have to do some research on it.
Officer Moser have children?
Officer Moser is married, and there are 2 children in the family, but that's about all I'm going to release on that. And again, I ask that you guys respect the privacy of the family. This is horrible for them. So let's kind of give them a little bit of space and respect as they go through their mourning.
Chief, do you know if police have been called to this address before? or if you-
I don't know that, Don. I don't.
Okay.
And BCI is the lead agency in this
BCI is a lead agency, and the Cass County Sheriff's Department is assisting them. It is a very expansive crime scene, so they need those 2 agencies to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.